So right here we want to talk about what is a term. Okay? Now a term is just a single number or multiple numbers being multiplied or divided. Okay? So you can see this 9 right here is a term. This 5x right here is a term. This 7ab, that is a term. Okay? 2xyz squared, that's a term. 3m squared n to the fourth, that's also a term. So how do we separate terms? Okay? Anybody know? Terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Okay? So if I have 9 plus 2xb, how many terms do I have up there? 2 terms, right? The 9 is a term, and the 2xb is a term. And I just told you terms are separated by plus signs and what? Minus signs. So terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Okay? So if I put a minus 4a squared here, now how many terms do I have? 3. I've got a term here. 9's a term. 2xb's a term. And 4a squared's a term. And they're all divided by, they're separated by this minus and this plus sign, right? 3 terms. Okay, so let's talk about what it takes for something to be a like term. Because if we want to add or subtract them, they must be a like term. Y'all write those words down, like term. And so in order for 2 terms to be like terms, and the reason we want them to be like terms is because then we can add them or subtract them. In order for 2 terms to be like terms, they have to have the same variable. Okay, that's the first requirement. They have to have the same variable. And the second requirement is they have to have the same exponent. So, if you have a term that has the same variable as another term and has the same exponent as another term, then it is a like term. So let me ask you this. Is x and y like terms? No, because they have different variables, right? Okay, what about x squared and x cubed? Are they like terms? They're not. See, if you look at them, they have the same variable, don't they? But they don't have the same exponent, do they? Okay, so in order for them to be a like term, they have to have the same variable and the what? Same exponent. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's say I have 4x squared and plus 3x squared. Can I add those? I can, and here's why. Because they're like terms. Do they both have the x for the variable? Are they both squared? So they're like terms. So if I have 4 of them right here, and I have 3 of them right here, 4 of them plus 3 of them is how many? 7 of them. So it would be 7x squared, right? This would be the addition of these 2. But let's be clear, you can only add or subtract them if they are like terms. You can multiply anything you want. To multiply 2 terms, they don't have to be like. But to add them, they must be alike. Let's talk about what a monomial, what a binomial, and what a trinomial is. It's very simple. A monomial simply has 1 term. Okay? So mono means how many terms? 1 term. It's that simple. Nothing more to it. If there's 1 term, then we call it a monomial. Okay? Now look at the second one. A binomial has how many terms? 2 terms. Well, think about how many wheels are on a bicycle? 2. So a binomial is going to have 2 terms. And then a trinomial is an expression with 3 terms. A tricycle has 3 wheels. A trinomial has 3 terms, right? Okay, so on this, what we want to do is we want to label each of the following as either a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial. Okay, so those are our three choices, right? We got a monomial, a binomial, or a trinomial. So let's look at our very first problem, number 1. How many terms are there? 3. I got 2x squared is a term, x is a term, and 1's a term. And the way I know each of those is a term is because they're all separated by positive signs, right? And so this right here would be a trinomial. I put a T there for trinomial, right? Look at number 2. How many terms are in number 2? 2, okay, separated by a minus sign. So this is a binomial. Look at number 3. Do you see any plus or minus signs on number 3? So it's a what? It's a monomial. There's just one term on 3. Look at 4. Do you see any plus or minus signs? Hello? No, it's all one term, isn't it? And so this is a monomial. Okay, look at 5. I see a plus sign right there. It's separating this and this. So how many terms are there? 2. So this is a binomial. Okay, this right here is separating 2 with a plus sign right here in the middle. So it's also a binomial. Do I see any plus or minus signs here? So what's that one? It's a monomial. Here, I've got a minus sign there and a plus sign there. So how many terms are there? 3, so it's a trinomial. Here I've got a term, a term, a term, and you can see that I've got a minus sign here and a minus sign here separating them. So how many terms would that be? 3, so this is a trinomial.